Are you sick and tired of gambling your hard-earned money on Madden packs? Look no further than my sponsor, MMOEXP, for the cheapest and most reliable MUT coins on the market. And don't forget to use code Ferdy at checkout for 5% off. What's going on, guys? Today we have our second update to the cornerback tier list, and do keep in mind, I'm making this video before Most Feared, so if you're watching this during Most Feared, I will have an update to this tier list either during or after, depending on what content we get, what cards we get. But if there is any top tier cornerback in the promo, I'm most likely to talk about it on the channel. If it was in the Most Feared promo, obviously I cannot predict the future. But let's get started here with our shout out of the day, and that goes to my man Noah Too Smooth for commenting the emoji of the day on last video. And if you want a chance to be shouted out in the next one, let's comment the pumpkin emoji. With Most Feared coming up, that is very fitting. And by the way, with Most Feared coming up, I will be live for the Most Feared reveal stream on Wednesday night right here on YouTube. But yeah, let's just get started. If you are new here, though, hit that subscribe button. If you do find videos like this helpful, hit that like button. The first card we're looking at today is the free team captain Ronde Barber. And let me tell you, EA has been with it as far as these team captains go. Normally, team captains maybe are used for the first 2 weeks, and then they're not relevant for the rest of the year. But this year, EA is sticking with it and actually showing love to these cards. So if you don't already have a 25 out of 25 theme team, you should have one. And if you do, this card's going to have 89 speed when he's fully upgraded, because you at least get +1 speed here. So 89 speed is how I'm going to look at this card with 89 acceleration, which is really, really good. Good man and zone mix, which is kind of what you're looking for, right? Like early to mid game, kind of where we are right now, which is more early game. You're not going to find many corners that can do both things. So having that 88 man and 90 zone, it's very effective being able to mix it up. Also, 86 pursuit is pretty good for a cornerback at this time of the year. Yes, he's 5'10", but really good physicals, good awareness, good stats across the board, even decent press. So to me, Ronde Barber and all 32 team cams, this one's a no-brainer. I think he's S tier. He's really good. He's a really solid cornerback in this game right now, which might surprise some people, but he might get overlooked because Eric Berry is so good, but Ronde Barber's the real deal as well. And next up, we have the completely free Christian Gonzalez. And if you want to know how to get this card for completely free, first of all, you should have got him when you logged into the game. But it pretty much is the same thing as Arian Foster. You have to do the objectives with him in your lineup. So Christian Gonzalez, it's not that long of a grind, honestly, if you just kind of play rookie solos and just get through that. But Christian Gonzalez, 87 speed, 85 acceleration. And it does suck that he's actually out for the season. At 6'1" with, good speed and good stats, he would have had good upgrades throughout the year. Unfortunately, though, maybe he'll still get upgrades. I don't know. Maybe like a ghost card could be his next upgrade potentially. But that might go to someone else. I don't know. I'll be very interested to see what they do with Christian Gonzalez for the rest of the year. Yeah, this card's pretty solid, man. And really at cornerback, it's not that deep right now at cornerback. It really is not. It just isn't. So Christian Gonzalez, to me, at 87 speed with that size and that man coverage, keep in mind, if you're playing man, this card's definitely solid. If you're playing zone, like 70% of the time, maybe Christian Gonzalez is not for you, because 80 zone to me is just too low. Even with a strat card boost and a coach boost, still at most 80, 83 zone coverage is just not good enough. So yeah, Christian Gonzalez, I'm going to put him still A tier, but mainly just a man-to-man guy here next to Adoree Jackson. The next man up is Joey Porter, and Joey Porter was S tier for a very long time. He came out on August 31st, and again, I said this in yesterday's video too, but dude, these Campus Hero cards stayed good for so long. And although Unstoppable Force, or Unstoppable, it's called Unstoppable, the Unstoppable promo was really good when it came out, I don't think it's gonna have the longevity of this promo. I just don't think it will. It was literally the top tier. Like, all these cards were top tier for a month, which is unheard of in a Madden game, especially Ultimate Team. Like, they try to update cards quickly, and obviously September was a very dry month for this game. If you are coming back to playing Madden, hello. But yeah, Joey Porter, 87 speed with 86 acceleration, 6'2", 193. Even a good tackler. That's why I kind of like this card a lot. But good man, good zone. You're playing man to man. That 90 zone coverage is so valuable. I even boost these cards man coverage as well. So I have +3 zone boost using the strat card, the cornerback +2 man strat card, as well as Matt Eberflus does get you the +3 man coverage, which is so effective. And I believe you're able to do the same thing with zone coverage as well, depending on what scheme you play, depending on what defense you play. So I'm running a lot of man-to-man, so I value those man-to-man corners. But obviously that's not going to affect this video. But I'm going to put Joey Porter at A tier. You could definitely debate him S tier still. You definitely could. But for now, I'll put him at A tier. Although he is, actually, I feel like he's S tier. I'll put him low S tier. I like his tackling stats a lot. I feel like the tackling stats definitely put Joey Porter up there. Yeah, I'll put him S tier. The next man up is Trey Brown with 89 speed, 88 acceleration, good jumping, solid play rec, and awareness. But he's very similar. You know, unless you're playing man-to-man coverage, this card you probably shouldn't use this card. And it's kind of weird for the Seattle theme team right now because they have Sherman, who's so good in zone, and you have Trey Brown, who's so good in man. So it's kind of, you know, it's interesting. Kind of how you want to use those cards. But 89 man coverage is super elite with 89 speed, 5'10". Tackling stats are nothing crazy. They're decent. But yeah, Trey Brown, I'm going to put Trey Brown, I'm going to put him at high A tier. I'm going to put Trey Brown at high A tier. I feel this is where he belongs. Haven't heard the best things about this card. I've heard he's played solid, but I've only really heard that from Seattle theme teamers. And obviously I've ranked these cards not based on them being on a theme team. So Trey Brown, I'm going to put him in the top of A tier. And next up, we have Marcus Peters. This right here is a card I really like, but there is one hole, and I do think it's actually a pretty big deal. And that's the agility and acceleration. If you don't know, agility is actually a big part in man-to-man coverage because it affects how you kind of stay with a receiver on a route. You know, agility is a very underrated stat on cornerbacks. And if you're ever wondering why your quarterback who has amazing stats isn't playing well in coverage, it's probably because of the agility and also the acceleration. Acceleration helps you break on zone coverages and just kind of get to your top, you know, get to the speed that the card has as fast as possible. And although, yeah, he's got 90 zone coverage, I mean, man coverage is actually amazing as well as having good zone coverage. So regardless of what scheme you're playing, Marcus Peters should play pretty well. I do think you should probably play Marcus Peters at slot. That's probably where I would play this card because the acceleration does scare me a little bit, especially even like the press. If you're pressed against a guy like Calvin or, you know, one of these fast, big body receivers with a good release, he's going to get beat. So play him in the slot. And if you are going to use Marcus Peters, does get honestly a bunch of good theme teams. I would say 3 very popular theme teams right now in this game Marcus Peters does get. So most likely, if you have one of these teams, you're going to be using Marcus Peters. So my tip there would be play him in the slot. He has his holes, but if you play him right, this card can be very, very good. So Marcus Peters, to me, I'm going to put him, let's put him in front of Deron Bland. In front of Deron Bland at A tier. Because of that 90 man, it just looks good. So yeah, I'm going to go with Marcus Peters at high to mid A tier. And next up, we have the team of the week, Jerry Jacobs, 88 speed, 89 acceleration, 87 agility, 87 COD. I've been using this card on my team. I play a lot of man coverage, so I was a little bit scared trying out Jerry Jacobs because I do play that man coverage. I will say I have been mixing it up a pretty good amount more, just because of how defense plays. And I feel like right now the best way to play defense is just by mixing it up. I know defense right now is really hard, and until someone finds that one-size-fits-all defense, which someone will, I just think mixing up man and zone and just giving different looks on defense, because people are going to drive on you, which is how the game's going to play right now. But just switching it up and just being comfortable in a formation, to me, is always the most effective, and it's been pretty good for me. So Jerry, I have him with +3 man coverage, so he's at 88 man coverage, zone not at 90 yet for him, but this card does play pretty well, 5'10", 203. Outside of a theme team, do I recommend him? Probably not, and his price has actually gone up a pretty good amount, so I probably wouldn't touch Jerry unless you have a Lions theme team, but you know, just know if you do, this card does actually play pretty good. So I'm gonna put Jerry Jacobs at the top of A tier because he's played good for me, so I'm going to put Jerry at A tier. And next up, we have Stefon Gilmore. And Stefon Gilmore, believe it or not, is very similar to Marcus Peters. He's very, very similar. And he's going to be your man-to-man guy. So to me, him and Marcus Peters are similar because of the the speed, but it's mainly the acceleration and the agility and even the COD. So these stats here are very important for corners, like I said. But I like his awareness a lot against the run. In play action, you know, awareness is important as well as play rec's important. But this card's played well. He's 6'1", has an inch on Peters. But you know, if you can get him up there with, you know, +2 man coverage is pretty easy to get. Just go get that, you know, that strat card that gives +2 to cornerbacks. So this card with 90 man, 90 press, definitely, in my opinion, will play better than Marcus Peters. So I'm going to put him just in front, but it is crazy that Marcus Peters and Stefon Gilmore are so similar. But I guess UK was quite a while ago, so it does make sense. Next up, we have the 6'2" Antonio Cromartie with a 90 man coverage, and again, he's really only going to be a man-to-man guy. I like this card. He plays well for me on my Jets team. But keep in mind, I have him with +1 speed, +1 acceleration. But the agility's good on this card, COD's good on this card. I will say, the tackling, you can definitely see this man gets beat up on the outside a good amount. I've been using this card since he's come out, so I got a pretty good feel on this card. And, you know, cards that kind of play like him, but I do like his height, 6'2". So my theory with height in this game right now is on pass catchers is not as important. I don't think so. Like, I'm not going to say, you know, for example, go look at a guy like Brian Finneran, 6'5", but I'm not willing to trade those low stats for his height, which maybe in past Maddens I was doing that because of how good high balling and ag catching was. And this year, it's pretty easy to KO. It's pretty easy just to, affect the ball in the air. Even high balls, they can just drop them. So to me, height is really important on DBs. But I also like a guy like Ronde Barber. He's 5'10", but he's a guy that can do both. And guys that can do both are kind of rare right now. So with that being said, I'm gonna put Cromartie. I'm gonna put him in front of Ronde Barber. I'm gonna put him in front, but that's just because of how good he is in man coverage. If you're someone that's playing zone coverage or a guy that mixes it up, Ronde might be above a Cromartie for you. But to me, the build with the man coverage, in man coverage, he's elite. One of the best cards in this game right now as far as man-to-man goes. Next man up is Deion Sanders. And again, Deion Sanders cards always play well. And that is because they always have good agility, always have good COD, and always have good acceleration and speed. And that's what I've been saying here, where, if you have those stats, you just play better in man-to-man coverage and zones and things like that. So if you ever wonder why Deion always plays well, it's because he's always top tier at those stats because it's Deion Sanders. With the ball in his hands, he's top tier. But, pause, but I always say that, but, 90-man coverage, so he's very similar to Cromartie. To me, though, I've used both cards. I've used Cromartie on a theme team, and I still think Deion Sanders, I think Deion's better than Cromartie. He played better for me than Cromartie, and I had Cromartie on a theme team. So Deion, I'm not gonna lie, man, for his price, at 100K right now, 120K, he should be on a lot of people's teams. He's still a really, really good card. And that goes to show you just kind of how thin this position is. This is a card that came out in August. And to me, he's still really good. And also just how before his time this card was as well. He does have problems as far as tackling goes. But in that man coverage, he is simply elite. And even 84 zone boosted up to 87 is not awful. So Deion Sanders, yes, easy S tier and still one of the best cornerbacks in this game right now. And next up, we have one of the most rare cards in this game right now. Not because he's rare, but because he's a tall corner that can do both and tackle quite well. Not very well, but can tackle quite well. So Charles Woodson, 88 speed, 85 acceleration, which I don't love. I wish he had at least 88. Would have made him play that much better, but good agility, good COD, because again, Charles Woodson is good with the ball in his hands. He was in college, he was his whole career. So that's why, Charles Woodson cards always play well. The same goes for guys like Rod Woodson. He always plays well too. So Charles Woodson, 90-man, 90 zone, regardless of what your scheme is, regardless of what you do, this card can be effective. If you want to put him at safety, you can do that. It doesn't matter. Charles Woodson is just a really solid cornerback in this game right now. So not going to spend too much time here. I'm just going to put Charles Woodson to the top of S tier. And let's get on to our final card. And finally, last but not least, we have Marlon Humphrey. Do I think Marlon Humphrey is the best cornerback in this game? No. But if you've used somebody like Jalen Ramsey and you like the way that card plays, you will like the way Marlon Humphrey plays, as well as him having better tackling stats. Some of the best tackling stats in this game right now for a cornerback. And also a guy, if you play zone coverage, or even if you're mixing it up, say you're someone that plays a lot of man, maybe plays zone 30% of the time, still boosting this man +3 zone coverage, going to get the ball hawk strat card with +2 man or +2 zone, and then going to get, I know there's a head coach that gets +1 zone, so put that on him as well, and you can get 90-90 the same way Charles Woodson's able to get. So to me, he is just a slightly better Jalen Ramsey, just a slightly better one. It's not much, but it is just like the tackling stats. The cards are very, very similar, but once you kind of get him to 90 zone coverage, you have 90, 90, 89, which is really, really good. For a cornerback in this game right now. Good speed, good acceleration, the agility a little bit lower than what I would like to see, but honestly, 80 strength with this press is really tough to beat off the line. And him having good tackling stats is also really nice too at 6'2", 205. So with that being said, I still believe Charles Woodson is the best cornerback in this game right now. But number 2, I have Marlon Humphrey, 3's Ramsey, 4 Deion, and 5 Antonio Cromartie. But yeah, let me know down in the comment section who's too high, who's too low. Let me know. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. Even if you skip to the end of the video just to see the final tier list, hit that like button. I still love you. But as always, I'll see you boys in the next one.